have a couple things that I wanted to do today with the readings. And the first one I got from Indigenous Rhythm Circle. We are mirrors of each other. The bear does not ask the bird why it's small, and the bird does not fear the bear for being large. They simply look in a wordless moment and understand life need not match to live in harmony. The bear carries the earth, the bird carries the wind. You both hear the moon, yet both hear the moon whispering in their blood. No one dominates, no one bows, only presence and a reverence for one another, like two ancient spirits who remember where they came from. We, humans, have forgotten how to see like this, forgotten how to listen with the heart, but nature remembers, and tonight the bear and the hummingbird remind us. My second reading is from the Serendipity Corner, and it says, the future holds our aspirations while the past offers its lessons, reminding us that life is a delicate balance of gains and losses where permanence is elusive. Each dawn brings a fresh start, illuminating the possibilities of the day, and as night falls, the stars emerge. Yet we must accept that not all moments can endure. We walk our journey with faith, navigating the highs and lows of our feelings, always striving to remain authentic to ourselves. Amidst the inevitable changes life presents, one truth remains steadfast. Hope resides within our heart, a constant companion no matter where life leads us. My thoughts for today. Thanks.
So a couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege of going to Glasgow, Scotland. That was a culmination of about a 4-year drive by the International Spiritualist Federation to mark the grave of somebody. And I wanted to tell you about that person and about the experience that Inner Spiritual Center was actually a part of at this time. So about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, in that range, somebody approached Robin Hodson, who is the president of the Inner Spiritual Center. Nope. International. There's too many ISCs, IFCs, IF, all of those kind of things. Of the Federation of Spiritualists, and they said, by the way, I was in Scotland and I was looking for the grave of a man named John Campbell Sloan. And this gentleman said to Robin, I couldn't find it. So he went to, and I'll tell you about John Campbell Sloan in a second, but he went to the groundskeeper of the cemetery that he thought should be the burial place of the spiritualist. And the groundskeeper said, oh, yes, we do have him here. He and his wife are buried here. Let me show you. And the gentleman led this man to a place which is absolutely beautiful, overlooking a beautiful lake and the mountains in that area of Scotland. But there was no gravestone. It was an unmarked grave. What happened was that this gentleman came back to Robin and said, this is one of the spiritualists in history that we should all know about. And he has an unmarked grave. What can we do? So the ISF began a fundraising campaign to earn enough money, to gather enough money to place a headstone at this site, which was a couple of weeks ago dedicated finally. And along with the Glasgow Association of Spiritualists, which this man was a part of, came together for not only the dedication of this headstone, but also for a information about him, a night of pictures and stories and demonstration of mediumship in his honor. So who is John Campbell Sloan? Many of you probably have not heard of him. I had not heard of him until about 4 years ago when all of this started up. But John Campbell Sloan was born in the 1860s and he lived until 1951. So he was around into somewhat current times. He is a person that began to unfold in his mediumship quite naturally and began to work in physical phenomena mediumship, which means that things would occur that everybody could see. So it's not what we do on a Sunday morning, which is a mental mediumship demonstration, where the medium is getting the information, getting the sensing, getting the feeling. Other people may be also getting that feeling, but we're not all experiencing it. So physical mediumship is where everybody can experience something that's going on. We all hear the same things. We all hear the voice. We may see a person develop in terms of what happens in physical mediumship. So everybody can see it. So this man began to develop in that way. And what was interesting was that all of his life in his work, he never asked for money, unlike the center, never asked for money from anybody for his work. And the spiritualist organization in Glasgow gave him a job to do to earn some money because he would never ask for any money. And he did this work throughout his whole life. But the keystone to John Campbell Sloan is not that he didn't ask for money, not that he worked all of his life, because many of us do, whether it's this job or other jobs. We work our entire life at something. But what happened was a gentleman named Arthur Finley, who eventually left his estate to become the Stansted Hall and College for Spiritualism, came across John Campbell Sloan and became interested in him and sat with him through many, many, many seances, many groups, many times where this man worked. And Arthur Finley wrote about him in a book called The Edge of the Edge of Etheric. The Edge of Etheric. And in that book, it's the first time many people heard about, understood, came to be knowing about John Campbell Sloan. And because of Arthur Finley not only bequeathing his property to begin a college to teach mediumship and to teach psychic development, he also was really the person who brought this name to the public, to the world. And as famous as John Campbell Sloan became in his time and his era, he continued not to take payment. He continued to work for the love of working with spirit and of giving his time, his energy, and his effort to that cause, that people could understand that when we die, we still live. So this dedication was a beautiful headstone in this beautiful cemetery overlooking this lake and by the hills in Scotland, and where people who want to come and pay their respects to a man who made a huge difference in even what we are doing today and why we are here today, you can, or people can. So the Spiritualist Association of Glasgow was very happy that the International Spiritualist Federation took up this cause and moved it forward and had a really beautiful, lovely evening in honoring this man, honoring spiritualism, and honoring the fact that after 75 years, this man and his wife were finally recognized in the cemetery that they had been buried in. So that was what was going on a couple of weeks ago. And I was very honored to be asked, because it was Richard Scholler, myself, and Rosemary Caldarello from the United States who went there for this event from the United States. So I was very honored to be a part of that, and very honored that I got to learn a little bit more about what I call my religion, which is spiritualism, in that way. But it also got me thinking. It also got me thinking about this man and his wife who did so much, went unrecognized for so many years. Maybe not forgotten by family members or in the history books of spiritualism, but had gone unrecognized. And it made me really wonder and think about what is our impact when we are here in our world? Now, is it that we are going to be in somebody's book someday? Maybe. Maybe some of you guys will be in the gold, medal hall of fame for the events that you took place of yesterday. Maybe some will be remembered by a couple of generations of our family. Maybe some people will be known in different ways for different things. But the majority of us live our life, we go to work, we retire, and we die. I mean, not right when we retire, so I don't mean it that way, but eventually we die. Eventually our physical body cannot survive another day, another week, another month. And that body goes away. It's done. What have we contributed into our society, into our home, into our neighborhood, into our community? Have we contributed anything? Maybe, maybe not. But does that make us not worthwhile? Absolutely not. Because everybody's energy touches somebody else's energy. We were talking about mirroring energy just before, that we can be the mirror, that the hummingbird and the bear, right, don't see each other as different. They see each other as coming from the source, as we all do. We all come from a source. We all do what we do, and then we move back to that source. Now, the other thing that caught my kind of thought process was that, do we need to make a difference when we're here in the physical world? Some people will say absolutely. Some people will say maybe not. Some people will have maybe not an opinion. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's a matter of, what do you think? What do you feel you want to do when you're here? And what can we continue to do when we're in the energy of the spirit world? Because so many of us see a finite life, right? We're born and eventually we die. But there's a continuation after that point of physical death that we go into, that we are a part of, that is a part of us. And in that continuation, is it a possibility that we can continue to contribute or start to contribute to that community in the spirit world and to the community still here? How many of you have had the sense of a family member, a friend who has passed around you from time to time? How many of you have had that sense of they're still here? And if we have that sense that they're still here, then there's a way that not only can we communicate, but there's a way that perhaps we can support, influence, and help. So our mark on this earth is not just about a headstone. It's not just about somebody has been kind of reestablished in the mindset of spiritualism. But it's also, what did that person do, not only when they were here, but since they've been in the spirit world? Do we feel they may be still influencing people here? I believe so, because I do not think that just randomly somebody decided, let me go find the headstone of John Campbell Sloan. Perhaps it was a whisper from the etheric that said, maybe it's time. And then it becomes action on our part to do something about it. So whether you've spent your life working in one job, whether you've spent your life working in the family, whether you've spent your life doing various things. Wherever we are, wherever we stand, wherever our energy is, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to be with other people, to influence other people, to perhaps help in some way, shape, or form that changes the dynamic for that person. Or we have a choice to just stand in our own power. But where we take that, to me, is always the question. Always a question. One day we may not feel like we want to be the explorer or the finder, the keeper of all things, but the next day we might. And when we do move into the spirit side of life, when we do finally move there, are we done? Do we sit on some cloud and just play the harp? Maybe that might be a choice. Or do we continue to work? Do we continue to perhaps guide? Do we continue to make an influence, to create an influence for somebody else? That's all of our individual free will choices. There's no right or wrong. There's no, yes, you have to do this. There's no contract to sign, no matter what you've heard. We're not signing contracts. It's just a matter of what do you, as the energy who you are, want to do? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to be? What do you want for you? And as we said, what your decision is also reflects to other people in their way. The spirit world to me is a very alive world. I think if you work with mediumship or you work with anything that is energy kind of based, even if it's Reiki, if it's whatever, you feel something different. You feel something change. It's not the same. And when we know it's not the same, then we have a choice of what we do with that. To me, the spirit world is not quiet. It's not people sitting on clouds and playing harps. It's not any of that. It's we step out of here and we move into another opportunity. That's all. Another opportunity. So what is our opportunities for today, for this week, for this month, for the summer, for the coming year? Whatever that is, it's not something that you have to think about. It really isn't. It's just something to feel into. And as you feel into that, you have the opportunity to take a step, and then another step, and another step, and be guided in the present of who we are, not in the past and not in the future, just the present of who we are. So we can say thank you to people like John Campbell Sloan, to Arthur Finley, to all of those great people that have been written in the history books. But we can't live in history. We have to understand history, but we can't live in history. We have to live in the present. Your choice, what you do, the stamp that you make, the decisions that you make, and nobody can say to you that's right or wrong. They can't, because it's your choice. So in celebration of what we did a couple of weeks ago, or what I was a part of a couple of weeks ago, I bring that same thought to you guys now. In terms of, do we forget about the past? No, we don't. But spiritualism sometimes has this thing that we do live in the past. You know, it's the Victorian age, it's the 1800s, people in Lilydale, God love them, but, they'll dress up as like the 1800s. We need to look at how do we take that respect for the past and move it forward into where we need to go, where we need to be, where are we? That's everybody's choice. So I hope you take a thought, just enough to say, what do I want to be? Where do I want to be? What step do I want to take? And in that step, am I doing something that I can be proud of. And I believe that when we do something that we are proud of, what it does do is change the energy for everybody else. And especially in the world that we live in today, I believe that every little bit does help bring a sense of community and bring a sense of it's going to be okay because we're in it together.